You know, I live in a perfect utopia. My daughter wakes up every morning, she's 3 years old, and she comes into my bed and she hugs me and she says, I love you, and I love her. That's utopia, man, when a 3-year-old just loves you. What more do you want? I would like to wash my crack just before I die, in case I get butt-fucked by God.
I'm looking for the best American beef. Give me 50 burgers.
I've actually failed in more mediums than I've been a success in. And I'm in a midlife crisis at the moment. I've been depressed for 12 days in a row, thinking about what can I now do with my life that will change it. You know, I'd like to mention that this whole thing of dirt is an academic Anton Kruger's idea of my work. The meaning of dirt for me is in terms of analyzing the system, and the system of oppression and the system of lack of freedom that operates, I think needs to be dirtied up by the potential for freedom, or the potential for individuality, or the potential for self-expression. So for me, dirt is actually a very healthy thing. It's a very good thing. Dirt is an expression of the self, refusing the robotic identity of the mass-produced man and or woman, who is ostensibly equal but not really.
This is Grace. She thinks she's a man.
I think motherfucker is the whole thing. I think that the male impulse is to fuck your mother, and the female impulse is somehow to deal with that male impulse. And there you have it, the whole of gender and power in the motherfucker word. That's why it's such a powerful expletive. You know, motherfucker, fatherfucker, these are the primal roots of all movement in culture and the universe. The universe is a vast pussy, and male energy excites that pussy. It makes it shake and it makes it come, and that's how everything comes out. The kind of impunity that the police operate with in South Africa these days is really terrifying, and it's got nothing to do with a so-called democracy or a country where the Constitution supposedly protects the citizens of the country. I've never voted in my life. I think it's a terrible con. I think it's a huge illusion. What we've seen in these 17 years of voting is that it's just business as usual. The major companies that owned South Africa in '94 and that owned the land still own the land. Very little has changed, except that some black puppets now also are in on the game. And the people who've benefited most out of the so-called post-apartheid period are actually the so-called whites, who don't have conscription, who don't have an economic boycott to deal with. So it's business as usual for the so-called whites, and oppression as usual for the rest.
South Africa.